If you ain't a gator, you must be gator bait. If you ain't a gator, you must be gator bait.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is a much better episode than all the others. That was a crazy, crazy atmosphere on Saturday. I know Dylan was there. I was there. Absolutely just insane environment. Give me your take on just what you saw and how you felt about the game, and then we'll dive a little deeper into it.
Yeah, I mean, it feels really good to get a win, to be honest with you. It feels really good to be in the swamp, and it had that swamp feel, electric feel behind it. And I went into the game with no expectations whatsoever. I was sitting there telling my dad, I was like, yeah, I have no expectations. So if we lose, I'm not going to be as pissed as I usually would be.
Right.
If we win, I'm leaving it open to be pleasantly surprised. So
Yeah.
that's what I came out with, was being pleasantly surprised. First half shocked me, unbelievably shocked.
Yep.
I thought we absolutely harassed Arch Manning. I felt bad for him at the end of it. I was like, man, he's gonna need an ice bath right after.
Yeah.
We were harassing him, but at the same time, I feel like we dominated the majority of the game. But it's weird that it felt like we were up by like 3 touchdowns the whole game. And you turn around and look at the end of the game, and we only won by 1, so we won by 8. And then you go back and you watch the highlights, and just being a realist myself, you see that we were 1 or 2 plays away from losing that game.
Yeah.
We were, that screen pass where they did that double pass. I think Ryan Wingo's the one who threw it, and he overthrew the tight end. That was a touchdown. I think we're a Dallas Wilson not recovering his own fumble away from losing that game because we scored on that drive. So we were 1 or 2 plays away from this conversation and this feeling that we have being way different, which is it's pretty bad because, like I was saying, I mean, we dominated the entire game. So we should have won by so much more, and I think that all stems from the conservative play in the second half.
Yeah,
right. It's the same. It's the same old Billy, and I think this game, some people will take it and say, I mean, I don't know if you listen to Steve Russell on the WRUF. There's some guys that are hammered on there that go on and talk to him after the game, and they're like, I think we may be firing Billy 1 year too late. Like one year too early if we fire him this year. And I was like, these guys are crazy. I think that game is the epitome of why he should be let go, because you saw how talented we are, and you saw how we had the opportunity to throw the game away. We lose games way too close, and we win games way too close, in my opinion. So
yeah. I think now on the flip side, I think that, like, you're right, Dallas Wilson fumbling the ball, I think that was just like a perfectly timed hit when you saw it, and like the way he hit him, and like kudos to Dallas Wilson to have just that recovery of being able to not panic, and he just like he see ball, get ball, and he got there and he got on top of it. I'm very pro firing Billy. But as for the actual Florida-Texas game, I actually think that we were 1 fumble away from really just like this turning into Florida-Ole Miss back in, I think it was like 14 or 15, whatever it was, where we just blew them out the water. I think that fumble really – I think that fumble really kind of turned things, to where, okay, Texas got a little bit of momentum. But I think if we go down and score there, I mean, there was like momentum and it was clicking. And then I think that kind of like you could feel it in the atmosphere. You could feel it just kind of like drop a little bit when the fumble happened. But with that being said, you're right when it comes to, and I want to look at both sides, because at the end of the day, I'm super happy to see a win. I'm super happy to, like, I'll tell you what, don't come into the swamp as the number 9 team in the country, because you're probably not making it out alive. Ole Miss didn't last year, and Texas didn't this year. I'm going to look at it from both sides when I kind of talk about how I felt about it. You're right about the conservative play calling, and it almost turned into being really bad. because I think Texas started to get a little bit of momentum there at the end, and I was like, oh my, I'm literally sitting there in the stands watching this, and I'm like, we're really about to, like, I knew we weren't going to lose. We obviously couldn't lose, but I was like, they're going to go get a touchdown, riding on momentum. We're going to have to stop a 2-pointer. We might be watching overtime right here. That is a very uncomfortable feeling. I think that our team played lights out for the most part. I think that, again, it just came down to they did the plays that were called by Billy, and Billy does what Billy does, where he's like, he played to get by. Like I have the lead right now, and then it was like conservative, and he's like, let's just eat this clock. We're gonna do what we can to eat the clock, eat away at it. And that's I didn't like that. Like, I'm like, man, on 3rd and 3, we just watched last week Lane Kiffin, in a matchup that he's in against LSU, and what does he do on what I think it's 4th and 3, and he throws the ball for a first down, and seals the game. Boom, ends it. If you throw the ball right there, and I get it, like DJ hasn't been playing the best, but in that game right there, DJ was playing extremely well. And I think you can snap that ball on 3rd and 3. I think you can find a man right there. I didn't like the fact that we were trying to preserve Dallas Wilson. I don't know if you noticed that, but we were up pretty big, and for a good stretch, I'm sitting up there talking to my brother and my cousins, and I'm like, where is Dallas at? Like, why is he not out there? He's sitting on the sideline, to the point that I'm like, is he hurt? But yeah, that's the frustrating part, is I'm like watching this and I'm going, what's happening here? Like, are we really about to give this game away, that we look like the more dominant team? We look like, this game, watching it from the stands, I'm like, how are we not winning this by 3+ touchdowns right now? Like, we're killing these guys. But at the end of the day, like, we got out of there with the W, but that's just not going to continue to work. You're not going to get every game at home. I've been a very big advocate on that. I think that what Dan Lanning said about Penn State is the same thing in the Swamp. That atmosphere alone gets you 7 to 10 points. And the Swamp does that for you. Arch was rattled. I said that week 1 when I said he's playing against Ohio State in the shoe, and I was like, if he thinks that's loud, wait till he comes to the Swamp. Like, he's going to be he's going to be rattled. Like, his brain's going to be shaken. But yeah, that's just kind of like my takes on it. That's the frustrating part. But what position group do you think played the absolute, like, lights out, played the best that game?
Honestly, I think the one that shocked me the most, I don't know if they played the best, but the one that shocked me the most was the interior defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Just Brian Taylor. I thought he was one of the stars of the game. Brian Taylor showed out. Michael Burrow. Is it Makai Burrow?
Makai, yeah.
Yeah, he shined, especially a room that, we were kind of scared about the depth of at the beginning of the year, especially now with Caleb Banks being out. I thought they shined, and I thought, this game solidified how good Miles Graham is. Miles Graham is unbelievable. I think he's one of the best linebackers in the country, and I think, Jaden Ball is a perfect 1B, linebacker too. Like, not Jaden Ball, but Jaden Robinson. Jaden Robinson's vision is unbelievable. There was a couple plays where I was just watching him and nobody else, and his vision is unbelievable. And I think the linebackers do a really good job of tackling. I think that's where we were hurting last year, or I think the year before, where we just weren't tackling really well. I think the linebackers do a really good job of tackling. I think the guys who stood out the most to me were Brian Taylor, Miles Graham, and Devin Moore. Devin Moore has, again, solidified himself as everything we thought he would be, which is one of the best, defensive backs in the country. So, and then you can't say the wide receivers didn't stand out. Those 2 freshmen are unbelievable, man.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I think that it shows you, I think that a few different things. I think that we got to see a DJ who got to practice. Like, he got full practices in, and the way that he distributed the ball and moved around, let's go Vern. But the way that he was, I mean, he was just looked lights out. I felt like there was confidence there. I pulled the game up on my phone and they showed his face and like his eyes. He didn't look like a deer in headlights. Like he looked like he was locked in. You know, he looked like, and the confidence. I know it's crazy, but he's looking over at the sideline after throwing a touchdown to Dallas Wilson and throwing the horns down. I'm like, I love that confidence. I love that. Like, let them know that you're smacking these boys. This is the team. Yeah, exactly. He's from Texas, and he's about to go play next week in front of a whole bunch of friends and family. But that's the thing that I think Dallas Wilson brings a different energy to the offense that even I was doubtful of. And I was only doubtful because of Billy, not because of his talents. I was doubtful that Billy was going to dial up what he should dial up, where you're utilizing him where now when 6 is on the field, that defense goes, okay, where's he at? Like, where is he at? And then you got VB3 running down the field, and we got deep shots being taken. And so it's creating more of a dynamic that is causing the defense to now the DC has to work. You know what I'm saying? Where like before they didn't have to work, but man, Dallas Wilson is as advertised.
One thing that kind of stood out to me, this game that Billy has kind of not done in the past is like we've always been complaining about personnel usage, like having the best guys on the field at the right time. And I think you saw that, like that was the game plan early on. I think I texted like you and Etienne, like, man, did we just give the ball to Jaden Ball, Dallas Wilson, and Aiden Mizell back to back to back? We didn't see a lot of Eugene this game. I don't know if you noticed that, but
yeah,
Eugene was not on the field a lot. We had realistically our best guys on the field the majority of the game. And I think we did a good job using them, to be honest with you. I mean, it's everything that we've been saying, like give Jaden Ball the football and let him run. Stop with this, running back by committee. And Jacoby Jackson is great, but he's not Jaden Ball. Like Jaden Ball is a difference maker, man. He's one missed tackle away from breaking it open every single time he touches the ball. So, I mean, I was impressed by the personnel usage and just overall shocked by it because it's not anything we're ever used to. He's like this type of guy where he wants to get everybody the same amount of touches, the same amount of play time, rotate them every possession, whatever that may be. And we just didn't see that this game, and obviously it worked out.
Yeah. I would love to see it next week, honestly. Just I think that now that DJ has confidence, I want to see a 5-wide of 11, 6, 3, 9, and 4.
That ain't happening.
You guys know their names. I want to see the 5-wide. We're not going to see it, but I would love to see it because how do you cover that? Like truly, when you have DJ on, I mean, DJ was making throws. I don't know. Like I watched like a camera angle of it from like the back view, and DJ throws a sidearm that, like, I mean, the window that he found to get it to J. Michael was insane. Like I'm like, okay, this is the DJ that we knew from last year. And yeah, shout out to the O-line. The O-line kept DJ upright. I feel like everybody was clicking. I'll be honest with you, bye week Billy, I think we need to have one game next year. If for some reason Billy's our coach next year, we need the first game to be a nobody, and then let's have a bye week right after. Like I'm cool with it. Like we'll have a bye week early because this after bye week Billy is insane. But everybody was just, I feel like everybody was clicking. There was a different type of atmosphere to it. Just overall, I feel like everybody was playing great. Now, with that being said, going into next week at Texas A&M, we've talked about it. It's been something talked about previously on the pod. I said that this would be our hardest game. I think that Texas A&M is that game, but now I thought it was a harder game for a different reason. Originally, I thought it was our hardest game because it was going to be right after the stretch of all these hard games. Billy has never won a ranked game on the road. So this is going to tell me something. You go win this game, okay, I'll buy back into where I think that you can make a run. You can do something now. You got DJ is now composed, so you have nothing to say. You cannot say, oh, well DJ this, or, Billy has no excuse. You got your guys now. You got Dallas Wilson out there. Dallas had it didn't even look like he missed games. Like truly, it did not look like he missed any weeks. It looked like he's played this whole time. But this A&M game is going to be the one. So I just watching a little bit of Texas A&M and Mississippi State. You can tell those boys are like they're saying in the comments, well coached. I mean, well coached. They are a machine, and I really do believe. I hate to say this because I feel like people are going to be like, "Well, you're just taking back on it's just a way to hate on Billy." I don't think Texas is as good as as a country thought they were. I don't think that's a number 9 team. I think Arch is. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know if he's shook. I don't know if these lights are too big for him, but he just doesn't look good. I mean, he was running for his life, but even when he had open throws, he missed so many of them. And like that was a little bit of a concern for me watching from the stands. I was like, man, there's a lot of open guys, and he's just missing them. But Texas A&M's the one. I think that's the game. I think that's probably our hardest game left on our schedule. And Ole Miss is on there and Georgia's on there, but I think Texas A&M's the hardest game left.
Yeah, obviously tough environment there. Big stadium. You know, they got a good fan base. And also, too, I mean, they have people on the other side of the ball, you know, that used to work with Billy, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got Jay Bateman as the defensive coordinator who was with Billy. I believe he was like our linebacker coach. Is that correct? You got a couple of players that you got to see over there, too. I don't know how much time Jaden Hill and TJ Searcy are getting, but still, it doesn't help when you got somebody who knows the game planning, the schemes that you got to go up against. So, just going back to the DJ thing, man, I was really thinking about it. Like after the game, just feel really good for him. You know, it's honestly, it just speaks to the type of player and person that he is. That all of that was going on with him was like a huge mental thing. Like you could let that basically destroy your career. And we've seen a lot of guys to where they've had as bad a games as he has, where it just kind of destroys their career. But what a way to bounce back. I mean, there's obviously some things that you got to work on, like throwing into double or triple coverage. You know, I don't know if you saw that one where he threw the ball to Eugene Wilson in a triple coverage, but that was almost really bad. But just overall super impressive. You know, what a way to bounce back. You got to feel really good about that performance, especially going forward. I would assume it can only go up from here.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I think we took some deep shots too.
Yeah, exactly. Took some deep shots. Also, one thing I'm going to point out is I do not want them playing Go DJ in the Swamp anymore because they played it one time on Saturday, and the one time they played it, like legit the very next play, he threw an interception. I was like, all right, don't play that again. Don't play that no more. Like, let's leave that out of here. Just let him do his thing. But no, I agree. I think that the confidence thing was the biggest thing with him. We know who he is. Like, you don't go from who he was last year as a true freshman to this year and just like, it's been talked about. I think everyone knows it. You have your gunslingers at quarterback. People are going to – you got players in the NFL. They don't make the smartest decisions, but they throw a lot of touchdowns, but they also throw a lot of picks. But as long – I don't care. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If he's throwing interceptions, as long as our score is higher than their score at the end of the game, I don't care if he throws 12 interceptions in the game, as long as we win. But – you're not going to, how do I word this? You're not going to be able to get away with some of those mistakes with Texas A&M. And our defense, I think all of this was a huge momentum boost. Marcel Reed, you know what he's going to do. You know he's going to snap that ball. It's going to be RPO the whole game. Hand it off, pull it, run, pull it, throw. But I think this is huge for what happened. I think overall as a whole, going into this week, I think just the momentum and the confidence and just everything going into this week, I think that there's a lot to it. And I think we needed it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm almost kind of glad we didn't blow. It sounds so stupid to say this, but I'm almost glad we didn't blow them out because I think they know now. I think they can watch that film and go, dang, we almost gave that away. Like, we almost gave this game away that we, from top to bottom, we beat them.
Yeah.
Like I just there's not a point in that game that I can watch that game and go, yeah, Texas is a better team, or Texas has better players, or I don't know if you know who the streamer Sketch is, but I saw he was there, and I watched his video that he posted, and he's like talking, he's looking at the Texas guys, he's looking at Florida guys, and he's like, Texas is gonna blow them out. Like they just look so much bigger. These guys don't look bigger, and I'm like, all right, just wait till they play. Like they may look bigger, but we got some dudes out there who are ready to ball. But I think going into I'll say this is the biggest thing, and I'll say it here, and you can come back and tell me if I'm wrong next week after this game. Billy's got to find a killer mentality next week, this coming Saturday. He's got to find it. If you don't have a killer mentality and you don't try to, because I think we take the lead. I think that we can put it to him. I think if Mississippi State hung around with them, I think we can hang around with them. That was, I believe it was played in Texas A&M. So Mississippi State can do it. We can do it. We got the roster. We got the squad. The only difference is that I think Mississippi State also did not take chances when they should have taken chances. And Billy's got to go out there and take them chances. 3rd and 3, do not hand it to Jaden Ball. Everybody in that stadium could have told you what he was going to do. We know you're going to hand it to Jaden Ball, and we know that you're going to swing it to the left or swing it to the left, swing it to the right. You got to put the ball in the air on that moment there. You got to trust DJ. You got to show DJ that you trust him. I think you got to put more belief in him. Okay, 3rd and 3, this is a way that we can keep this drive moving, and we're up 7, we're up 10, and we can go up 17 or whatever. Put the ball in there. Go get that killer mentality. I mean, put your foot on their throats. Go show them that they're in year 2, like was said in the comments. They're in year 2, year 3. They're doing their thing, but go show that year 4 is – go show what you got to you. You know what I mean? You got to go out there and you got to outcoach them. You have to stop being the laughing stock out here that people go, Billy, what are you doing? Everyone. It's not just Gators fans. This is all these different, I watch Bustin' with the Boys. They're laughing at him. You got Johnny Manziel and Ocho and Shannon Sharp on there. They're laughing at him and laughing at us. And I'm like, bro, go prove them wrong. Like, you keep giving them laughing material. You just keep doing it. And so I love the win. I love it.
It feels really good to win. I think, that's one of the things I wanted to touch on was that's why I think Billy will never be successful at Florida, or at least have a great amount of success, no matter how much of a leash we give him, just because he doesn't have that killer instinct. I don't think that's something that you can change about yourself in a week. I think that's something that you're born with, or it's instilled in you. And I just think that he's never had it. We've never saw an example of it. Like, give me an example of him ever doing, like, blowing out a team. We didn't even do it at LIU. We didn't even blow LIU out. So that's just going to be his fault all the time, is that we're just never going to do enough to win. And that's because he doesn't have that killer instinct, man. And once I think another problem with Billy is, once he gets out of his script, or his script doesn't go to plan, you just see that he kind of panics. Like, he doesn't make good adjustments, and he just kind of goes away from what's good sometimes. Like, you see we're having success running the ball with Jaden. He just runs Jacoby out there. And we throw screen passes every drive, and they just don't work. When have you seen a successful screen pass this year? We just haven't. So, I think that's going to be his downfall. I'd love to be proven wrong, but that was our second win of the season. So, and then I don't know if you saw, LaFrance, the GM, his tweet after the game with the Sunbelt Billy and the boys, but man, have some feel. You're 2-3 at the University of Florida, and you feel like you just won the Super Bowl, and you're saying that to your fan base. Like, how can you do that? Like, that just rubbed me the wrong way. And then obviously you delete it after. So at least stand on it. That just really pissed me off. Like, just act like you've never been here before. So it just starts at the top.
I think the thing is too with it is, and that's the frustrating thing. You go and you watch, like, Florida State play, for example, right? Gus Malzahn calling that offense. You give him a lead, he knows how to dial up that offense with the lead. Boy, he can dial it up better than most of them when he's got the lead. but you put him down, he has no idea what he's doing out there. I mean, he is scrambling. He's like, it's almost like he's just scrolling through like, oh, yep, that one's, let's try that one. He has no idea how to play from behind, whereas Billy is like the complete opposite. I feel like he can kind of coach from behind, and he can, he's like, okay, crap, I gotta try. Just like the Miami game. We're getting tore up in that Miami game. We come out the second half, and he figured it out, and he knows how to kind of hang around in there. But you get that lead, and it's like he has no idea. It's like he takes his foot off the gas. Like I said, he gets very complacent. He runs the ball a lot, and he'll run it 3 downs in a row, and that's what happens, and that's the part that's frustrating is I'm like, dude, keep coaching, keep doing what you're doing. If you're throwing the ball and it's working, okay, if you're up, you're either going to punt the ball or there's a possibility of a pick or a turnover if that's what you're worried about, but you're punting the ball regardless. Like, you got to be able to watch that film and see, I'm running this ball 3 times in a row and it's not working. Like, this is not working. But that's where I'm getting, like, that's where I get mad is I'm like, watching that game on Saturday, I'm like, there's no reason that it should not have been that Florida Ole Miss game from whatever, 10, 11 years ago, whatever it was. We should have went in there and put our cleats on their throats and won that game like unanimous. Absolutely unanimous. I mean, I got a big thing. When I go watch a game live, I will go back and I'll watch the game, and whether it be win or lose, I go watch it because I want to see what happened from a different point of view. How did that look? Because I saw it here. I want to know what it looked like on TV. And some of those that I watch is like people like reacting to it. And the whole time they're acting, they're like, man, Florida's killing them. Florida's killing them. And then right near the end of it, they're like, is Florida about to lose this? Florida about to lose this? And I'm like, that's the reality of a Billy Napier team. That's the reality of this team, is that it's like you said, there's no reason why when we played LIU that we should not have won. We should have been in the 70s scoring that game. In the 70s, if not higher. Like, LIU didn't even get past our 50. And I'm like, man, and it's like I say this, like, I feel like Billy's such a sweetheart when it comes to other coaches. Like, he's like, man, it's coaches talk. But it's like these other coaches do this coaches talk and they go out there and smack you in the face on the field. Billy does his coaches talk before the game and then goes out there and he's like complacent with like, well, let's just beat them by a little bit. Let's take it easy. Like, let's win, but let's not make them feel bad. No, bro. No. You and Sark were coaching together. You need to go out there and dominate this man. Show him why you are the better coach than he is. Go out there and you prove this, that you have the better squad. You have the better team. Okay, if Dallas Wilson was what you're missing, show it. Go out there and keep putting it on them. But, yeah, I don't know. Moving on from that, I want to know, we've talked about doing this, and I'm just going to kind of toss them up here and see. I want you to give an MVP on offense and an MVP on defense. Whoever it may be, one on one side, one on the other side.
Can't give it to anybody else other than Dallas Wilson.
Yeah.
Can't give it anybody else other than Dallas Wilson. And I thought, to me, Miles Graham played unbelievable. So I got to give it to Dallas Wilson and Miles Graham.
Yeah. I think that I know this is kind of crazy, but I'm going to give, not crazy, but I'm going to give it to DJ. I think that him on offense, I feel like he was just dishing it. Like, he was finding everybody. I think that both of the touchdowns to Dallas, the RPO, like at the end zone, the RPO, Dallas Wilson's first touchdown, it was perfectly read. He could have just handed it off. Instead, he found him and ripped it to him. I felt like this is the DJ that we knew was that guy. Like, we're like, this is who we expected. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I don't think it's an injury thing. I think that this was like completely a confidence thing. Yeah, he's hurt, but we saw him last year. He played hurt last year, the whole season. But he was confident. I think that he just had this momentum rolling. So that on offense, that's who I'm giving it to. I feel like on defense, maybe Devin Moore with his pick. I think that he's just been lights out. He seems to be just locking everybody.
Yeah. He made a lot of money this weekend.
What'd you say?
He made a lot of money this weekend.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, is draft stock shot through the roof. I don't. Nashawn Montgomery's played a couple of times, but not much.
I think they might try to redshirt him, to be honest with you.
I think so
Because
too.
we haven't seen him a lot recently, and I don't see a need for him to be thrown in there whatsoever. We didn't see TJ Abrams a lot this past game, and we have been seeing a lot of him. That's why, man, this personnel usage this past weekend was something different than we've seen. It was almost like somebody else is calling the plays the first couple of drives, to be honest.
Yeah.
So overall, man, you just gotta celebrate the win. It was a good weekend for me. I got to go to the Jags game yesterday too, so that was fun. Did you get to watch that?
I did watch that. Big dubs all around for you. I think that we're starting to see something. We just need you in the swamp. That's the big thing. You go into the swamp and they win. So
man, that's not true because I was there the other two games. The USF we lost. So
yeah, I'll say this. So this isn't going to be a very long show just because, I'm trying to be very happy about this win. I am, because that's the biggest thing. That's it. You play week to week and you got to beat the opponent that's in front of you. And I don't believe that Texas, let me word it like this. I don't think Texas's offense is that good, but I will say that Texas's defense is really good. Texas defense went into Ohio State and held Jeremiah Smith in that offense to, 14 points?
Yeah.
And we went out there and just diced them up. So I'm not going to say that Texas isn't good. I think that, yes, they missed some offensive shots, and I think they missed some offensive opportunities. But, that comes with play calling. That comes with, there's a lot that plays into that. Missed passes, that when you're overthrowing somebody, what plays into that is now Arch isn't in a rhythm right now. So when Arch is missing that pass on 3rd and 9, when he missed that pass over on the sideline and he overthrows on that little corner, little dig right there, he overthrows and throws out of bounds. Why do you think he's doing that? Is because that defensive line was absolutely just giving him problems the whole entire game. And then looking at it, our DB blitzes, Sharif Denson got in there, and if Sharif Denson doesn't T-Rex arm it, we get a strip sack right there. He went like this, and he went to hit it, and it was almost like it's like he tried not to get a penalty or something to happen. But I definitely think that defense of Texas is really good. I just think that our offense, when it's clicking and when it, as DJ said, pops, I think it is as advertised. I think there is a lot of weapons out there. The only problem is I don't think that Billy called as good of a game as it was that our athletes did what they should do, if that makes sense. I think that athletes went out there and outplayed bad play calling until that second half, and then it got a little rocky.
I don't think the play calling was bad the first couple drives of the game. I think toward the end it gets pretty bad, and there's some questionable things throughout. But I think you do see this game from an execution standpoint, things change. I think the offensive line held up more than it has been these past couple of games, and that was super surprising to me as well, with how much you hear about this defensive front that Texas has. That might be the best defense we play all year, and like you said, we put up 29 on them. So overall, got to be able to just enjoy this win.
Yeah,
and have no expectations going in, because if we have any expectations, we're optimistic. History's going to show that Billy's going to let us down. So, I'm going to just ride out the rest of this season and just have no expectations whatsoever and be pleasantly surprised. What do you think this did for Billy? Nothing? You think it prolonged the inevitable?
Yeah, I'm very firm on that. I just don't think that Billy's going to be. I think that he dug himself too deep of a hole. I think that they gave him that chance. I think he got, like last year he got to play Grim Reaper of the SEC. He got to ruin some seasons, and he got to, they gave him another opportunity. They're like, okay, we saw that there's there's a lot here. We see what DJ brings. We see what you can do here. You're not getting it again this year. Like I'll be honest with you. I think that, and I'm going to fully believe this, that I feel like this team going into the season, I think it was playoffs or bust. You either make the playoffs or we're going to find a guy that can make the playoffs. So we've talked about it. A 3-loss team, a 3-loss Florida Gators team with this schedule can make the playoffs, and I think has a chance at making the playoffs. Whether we get put in because of the committee, I still think that 9-3 would save his season. But I'm going to go on record and say that I don't think Billy is going to go 9-3. I don't think he's going to run the table, but that might change if we go and smack Texas A&M this weekend. I might think differently of that. I do think that this is the hardest game left on our schedule. And I get it. Ole Miss is out there. There's a Tennessee out there. But I think that we can play against them a lot better than we can play against Texas A&M. Florida State seems to be, I know that they lost to Virginia and they lost to Miami. Miami is a super good team. And so I'm not taking away from FSU. I still think that they're a decent team, but we can beat them. They got to come to the swamp. That atmosphere is going to be what it's going to be. But again, if he loses this weekend, I think it's done. You just got to cut the head off and move on, because he's just not going to get it done. If he can't win in September, it's not going to work then. It's never going to work. Like if you're always having to play catch up, it's just not going to work. One of our glorified coaches of Steve Spurrier said that something about Tennessee being 7-5 and that they're okay with that. Back in that UT, you can't spell citrus without UT, and he had all the jokes with them, but now we're getting complacent with that. Like it's like, and I get it. We're in a day and age where like being undefeated is. I don't think you're going to see that happen. I don't think you're going to see an undefeated team. You might, but I just don't see it. But you got to stop being complacent. You got to stop being okay with it, man. It's like, okay, because the administration likes him and because the players like him. Well, guess what the players will also like? The players will also like making the playoffs. The players will also like a coach that can take them to a chance to win the national championship. If you lose another game, it's done. 4 losses, you're not making the playoffs. It's not happening. So go get it done. You run the table. If that's the case, then okay, that did something for you. You lose, that Texas game did nothing for you except that you did what, you won a game. Cool. Upsets happen all the time. UCLA just beat Penn State. And do we think that if they played 5 times in a row that UCLA is going to beat them every time? Absolutely not. But I don't think it did anything. Right now, you go beat Texas A&M, I'm definitely going to change my mind on that. I definitely think that, okay, now we're cooking with something here. But I just don't see it. What about you? You think it did anything for him, or you think that it's still?
No, I think it may have prolonged the inevitable.
Yeah,
but I think he's going to be the head coach at Florida for at least a good little bit more of the season, no matter win or lose. These next couple games, I don't know when they'll fire him, but I think he will. And do I think we're going to win the rest of these games? No, there's nothing he's shown me this season that is going to show that he's going to be consistent and we're going to win the rest of these games. I think you be in year 4 and you're fighting for your life and for your career 4 games into the season, I think that should be the biggest tell that you're not the right man for the job.
Yeah.
So, man, like, again, I just would like to be pleasantly surprised, but I mean, there's nothing that he's shown me that makes me think that we have any chance the rest of these games. I think the really good part about our team is we have a defense that's going to keep us in every single game, and is going to be close every single game that we play. And I think we have the talent to beat every single team left on our schedule. It's just a matter of if we go out there and do it, or what mistakes that we make, if we play a clean game or not, or the play calling, to be honest with you. So there's nothing that instills confidence in me. Again, it's win number 2, 5 games into the year with a home loss to USF.
Yep.
And
I agree.
In 2 games that we had the opportunity to win in the fourth quarter before that, and did nothing with it. So I just want, I mean, it's possible. Nothing. It's college football. The impossible is always possible. But
Yep.
I'm not going to tell you that us winning out the rest of the year is going to make me change my mind. Because again, it's still the same problems with starting out really slow and still the same. The same Billy in the press conferences and no fire. Credit to him, his guys want to play for him, and I think that's kind of why he's going to be sticking around a little bit longer. And I don't think we have a good interim to take his place at the moment. So that credit to him that I think his guys are going to play for him, but at the end of the day, you can only do so much.
Yeah, and looking back on just like the Ron Zook era and being old enough to pay attention to that and loving Gators football even back then, Ron Zook his players loved him too. I mean, they'd have did anything for him. He'd have did anything for them. That's why he went down and fought at a frat house for him, because that's just who he was. And you can be a likable guy. I think that's real. There is something to a team that does not quit on him. They could have quit. They could have quit before this game. That Miami game could have broke them. A lot of these guys know these Miami guys. They went to school around here. They could have been embarrassed, and that could have been it. Like, this guy is not the guy. Like, they could have quit on him. They don't quit on him. You can clearly see that they love him. And I think that's very easy to say. It's very blatantly obvious, like, that they love this guy. But with that being said, I think there's a lot to it, whereas I think that Billy is very much so like a fatherly figure. I think that they look at him like that. Like, none of these guys have their father actively like on campus with them. They're at home. Like, some of these guys, their father's 2, 3, 4 hours away, or if not more. So they can call him on the phone, but they got Billy right here. So I think that's a thing, is that he does play that role very, very well. But at the end of the day, it's also a business, and these guys are trying to get further. And you're not going to do that if you're not being able to put anything on tape or anything on display. So I personally feel like if we lose another game, I think that bye week before Georgia, I think that's it. I think that's where they can just do away with him. But who knows? Maybe they just let him coach the rest of the season and then decide to let him go, especially if they want Lane. I think they could say, like, hey, Lane's probably going to make the playoffs. We can let him coach it out here and, go beat Florida State and ride off ride off on your white horse, into the sunlight, and that's that. But I think that if he loses another game, the fan base is very much so happy right now. I think that everybody's happy with the win. We're not the laughing stock for another week, but like you said, we're in October, and that's our second win. Like, we lost to USF at home. Everyone's wanting to say, like, we don't lose in the swamp. We very, very, very much so did. And to a team who I'm like, I don't know how USF beat us. I don't think that they're that. I don't think they're that good.
My problem is too, is like the expectations that are kind of set from, I would say, the fan base are kind of changing. How, we're not going into a game like we played Texas and, expecting that to be a win. It shouldn't be, we're shocked we beat Texas, or we're happy, we're so ecstatic we beat Texas. That should be like, that should be just like another weekend for us. So yeah, it should be a big game, and it should be a tough game for us. But, we should expect to win these games. We should be the favorites. We're literally underdogs in every single game, I think, the rest of the year. So that should not be the standpoint that we're at the University of Florida year 4. And it shouldn't take week 5 to figure out, okay, this is what this team could be. Right. But I think at this point, we're just beating a dead horse.
Yeah. And I'll say this. So one more thing to touch on what you said. That's like a perfect thing. One thing and it's what made me say, like, I was so happy about the win. I mean, we're, driving out of there afterwards, and I'm throwing horns down to all the Gators fans, honestly, to all the Texas fans too. That y'all one of the terrible fans. But what frustrates me the most, and it, like, looking at ESPN, it frustrated me so bad, and it's because it said Florida upsets Texas, and that pissed me off so bad, because I'm like, why are we having to play upset in year 4? Like, why is this a thing? That's the part that pisses me off. I'm like, I'm so sick of saying if we win this week, Florida upsets Texas A&M. Why? Why is this what it's come down to at Florida? And I can tell you why. It's because of who the head ball coach is, Vanilla Billy, who is causing us to be where we're at. And I get it. Like, everyone's like, well, if we had Dallas Wilson this whole season, we'd be undefeated. Maybe. Who knows? But who knows where we'd be? But the problem is that you're telling me that in year 4 that Billy is having to bank on one player in an NIL era, that if he wants to, right when this season's over, he can dip back to Oregon if he wants to. And now what? Now you don't have that guy who is creating that, and you can say, well, we'll try to go get another one. Okay, you may not. So that's the problem. Is I'm like, you got to be able to coach. You got to be able to do what Lane did, where Lane loses a starting quarterback. What's he do? A second string comes in. They don't even skip a beat. I mean, they are just in full stride, just still going. And I know that this is very much so a Lane hype show. I think it's a Lane hype fan base right now, but it's just being real. That's why we like Lane so much, is because he's not playing upset and he's doing what he's supposed to do when it needs to be done. He's beating teams. He beats the mess out of teams that you should beat the mess out of. And he's not relying on one player. He's dialing up an offense. And I'm like, again, it does make me think, if Dallas Wilson's not out there, if Dallas Wilson's in Oregon, right? Say that never happens. Say Dallas Wilson never comes to Florida and he's in Oregon. Did we beat Texas? Because I don't know. Like, I don't know if we do. I don't think we do. It's just that's the part that's frustrating, is I'm like, we're literally riding on one player right now. And that's even with DJ being on the field. But yeah, like you said, we're just beating a dead horse. Real quick, any of y'all that are in here, if you don't mind, take a second to hit the like button, share it if you don't mind. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to us. It'd mean a lot. It'd mean a whole lot. We're getting close to 500. So trying to get there at least by the end of October.
Going forward, yeah. What do you think Billy needs to do to win games? What do you think this team needs to do to win games?
Killer instinct. You got to. I think that if you got to find it. I know that some people are born with it. I think some people can acquire it. I think that you have the tools to. You got the pieces out there to have that killer instinct. And it's really, I think that he's like a few plays away from being that. I think that he can have that killer instinct. He just doesn't seem to do it. So I think that that's what he needs moving forward. If we're going to run this table, if we're going to find a way to win out, make a playoff spot, or squeak into a playoff spot, or even just see that, hey, there's potential now. Because I think if he wins, you win out, I'm on board with him staying. I don't care. But even if we don't make a playoff, I'm cool with it. I understand he's got to figure out how to start quicker, but you got to stay. You got to stay aggressive. You got to put your foot down, pedal to metal, and just keep going. You have to. But show me something this week. What do you think? What do you think needs to be done?
I mean, to me, this weekend, you could just tell you got to put the ball in, your best player's hands every single time.
Yeah. So,
and that's running Jaden Ball 20 plus carries a game. You got to give him 20 plus carries a game. He's your best back. Got to give Jaden Ball 20 plus carries. Got to find your playmakers and allow them to make plays. Put them in a position to allow them to make plays. Don't throw screen passes to Eugene Wilson, or let Eugene Wilson block a screen pass. He's tiny, man. He's shifty. He's elusive. Whatever it may be, just find a way to get your playmakers the ball and good opportunities. I think that's been kind of the theme of the entire season is, we're playing too daddy ball, if that makes sense to you. Like, yeah. We're just trying to just please everybody and go through all these rotations when we just need to have the best guys on the field and make our playmakers make plays. So
yeah, Another thing is too is that I'm not mad. I want to put that out there is that like anytime that Billy runs a screen, I'm not mad at running a screen because screens are you can definitely utilize screens and they can be good. I see other teams run the screen and it works. But the reason that it works is because they keep the defense true. They're putting the ball down the field. So what happens, especially you gotta know to okay, you see those safeties playing deep, we got a shot now. You gotta be able to dial it up. But I think it's got to be the right moments. You know what I mean? You got to be able to do it on times that it makes sense. But I think one other thing I'm going to say before we get off here, I want to see when it's 2nd and 1. We got Jaden Ball back there. I can promise you one thing, that if you hand him that ball and let him steamroll ahead, he's most likely going to get that 1 yard. So try that on 3rd and 1. But 2nd and 1, sling the ball around. Let's take a shot. Put Dallas Wilson over the top. Vern was saying that when he just last week on here that we now have somebody in Dallas Wilson that you put him over the top. Okay, now you have to fear him going over the top. When he gets out there, go ahead and try to contest ball. Play contest ball with him because I guarantee you he's most likely going to win that contesting is going to come down with it. You saw it with VB3 when he goes deep. You can throw him the ball because he will go up and make a play. So 2nd and 1, let me see something. If Jaden Ball gets you 9 yards on that first play, even 8 yards, sling it down the field. Like, let me see a shot. Show me that you want to put points on that board. I don't want to see us, trying to 21, 24 points when we have the ability to put 45 points up. Like, what are we doing? But, I just want to say about the screenplays. Like, I'm not mad about a screen pass. I'm not. They are very, very capable of being utilized and being great. And just like Junkyard Dog said, every fan base hates the screen until it does go for 30 yards. And it's like, oh, that was a great play. That was super smart that he dialed that. The problem is that Billy's throwing it when everybody's playing up and they go ahead and throw it. We're going to be right there to stop it. So I think that's my biggest thing. It's going into this week. I want to see. I have seen that other teams have run the ball very, very well against Texas A&M. They got great DBs, but the ball gets ran against them. They got a good pass rush when it comes to getting to the quarterback, but they seem to not be able to stop the run. So I do not want to see, unless for some reason you have to, I don't want to see DJ throwing the ball 45, 50 times. Run the ball. Run that thing. Run Jaden Ball. You can run Duke Clark. He seems to be kind of getting in a groove. Run the football until they don't let you run the football anymore, and then start slinging it around. But
you got to stay healthy at defensive back too.
What'd you say?
So I got to stay healthy at defensive back too. Getting pretty skinny there.
Yeah, it's getting a little rough there. But I'll be honest with you. I'm back on my line here. I like us this week. I don't think it's going to be like a blowout win. Obviously, I don't think we have that. I don't think we have that about us. But I could see us squeaking out a 20-10 win or 20-13 win, 20-17. I don't see us scoring more than 20 against this team. But I could see us pulling it off. And I mean, like they're saying in the comments, I don't think Texas A&M's really played anybody. I do think Mississippi State is a good team. And I think that Texas A&M handled them pretty soundly. Later in the game, they wore on them, and I think you could see. Unfortunately, I could see that end up happening to us, but it's not going to. We're smacking these boys on Saturday, and I'm going to lie and say we're going to win the national championship this year. That's just all there is to it. But, yeah, you missed most of the show, Junkyard. I don't know what you're doing. But yeah, no, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Katie Daniels, I don't know. I don't think he's winning that spot over Duke. I think Duke is just, I don't know.
But Duke is hurt. Apparently, he didn't practice.
Oh, great. This is fun.
Duke's hurt. Apparently, he didn't practice the past 2 days. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Well, there's that. So that sucks. Yeah, I don't know. I am glad. I will say I'm very, very curious to see that injury list tomorrow. Very, very, very curious to see that injury list and see who's on it, who's off it. I don't know. It's just that's the one other thing too. injuries happen, right? Injuries happen. It's football. You're going to get hurt. But for some reason, it just feels like our injury list is always so significant. Like it's like some of our main players are always on there, or like I didn't know Jackson was going to be on the injury list. Like we were on live whenever me and Vern were on here when it popped up, and I'm looking, I'm like, what? Like I read them, like I was reading that VB3 may not play. I didn't expect Jacoby Jackson to be on there. I'm like, what is this? Why is this happening? That like these random injuries are popping up. So my take on us winning at like how much might dull down a little bit after that injury list, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I think our injuries have been more prominent on the defensive side, and great thing about it has been next man up, and there hasn't been much of a drop off. Some of those hurt, and you'd really like to have Banks in there and Aaron Gates, but I think we've done a good job so far, kind of filling in those gaps.
Yeah,
so it is next man up mentality, and that's what you got to have going forward if you want to string together a couple wins.
But you're right. I think that's the beautiful thing about like. I'll say with Ron Roberts, Billy better every night that he says his prayers, he better add Ron Roberts into it because he has absolutely kept Billy in every single game. It's insane how good he is. That's why I'm not stressing too much. I don't want injuries on the defense, but he schemes up such a good defense. I am excited to see how he does it this week, though, because Marcel Reed is going to run. He's going to move around a lot. I want to see how we scheme this up. I want to see how we grab a hold of him because that's the one thing too. I'm sorry. And then we'll get off here. I know I just keep like long winding this. We got to extend drives this weekend. Like I want to take shots, and I think that's a momentum boost for our offense. That's cool. I'm cool with those, but you got to go for it on 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s. Like you got to put the ball in there and try to get the first down because you have to give your defense a break. That's a big thing that happens like with the Miami game. We're in that game, but they just wore out. They got tired and they couldn't hang anymore. And a defense is going to tire before an offense. You're out there trying to, your DBs are chasing on receivers. Receivers know what route they're running. DBs are trying to guess it. So you got to extend drives this week. You got to. So that's all for us today. Like I said, it was just kind of, it's as always. I'm just happy. Horns down. I'm so glad to get that win, especially over a team that just joined the SEC. That feels really, really nice. And a team that embarrassed us last year. And they were gassing up that win against, no offense, Aiden, but against an Aiden Warner-led team. But it is what it is. We got to win. They came into the swamp. They had no idea what they were walking into. That is a elite atmosphere. I hope that Scott Strickland does not screw that up. I mean, that is just absolutely the best environment in college football, and I'll stand on that. I don't care about LSU. The swamp is hands down the best environment. But yeah, come hang out with us again next week. This was delayed a little bit this week, but we'll be back on Monday next week and be back to our regular scheduled program. Aggies are going down this week. Mark my words. If I lied to you, don't mark my words. But we're smacking these boys. 20-10, I'm calling it right now. That's the score. Give me a score prediction real quick.
I think we thought this was going to be a defensive ball game.
Yeah.
I think, let's say 27-20.
I like it.
Florida.
I like it. Gators on top, as always.
Never
thank you guys.
Anybody else to win.
Never. I will lie. I don't care if we didn't have a win at all this season. I'm still picking us to win. But I thank you guys for hanging out with us. As always, like I said, smash the like button, share this, ask everybody in your family to subscribe. Go make another profile, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, do it all, however you have to do it. But I appreciate you guys. Get your merch, and thanks for hanging out with us. And as always, if you ain't a Gator, y'all know the rest.